Hi there, I'm Emma Kemp for Jamie Rodgers Crafts, and in today's video we're going to make this window box planter card using products from Jamie's June 2025 release. So to begin, we're coming in with Jamie's new Enchanted Sprinkles in colour gold and yellow. I'm adding a small amount to my mat and adding a light wash of water to my card before coming in with the colour. This is just going to create the background for the window panes, so we only need a light wash. Coming in with Jamie's new Picket Fence die set, I'm taking the 4 squared edge dies. Ignore how many I've cut here on screen, as I've actually cut too many. The correct amount of those shown in numbers on the screen. So from black card you'll need 2 from the smallest die, 4 from the next size up, and then from craft 3 from the next size up and 2 from the largest die. From there, I'm just taking each strip and cutting them down to 10.5 centimetres for each one. Next, I just want to add an angled cut to the top and bottom pieces of my frame. So I'm lining these 2 pieces up here and making a mark where they join, if you can see that. And I do that on both sides of the top piece. And this mark is a cut line. I'm just going to match that there, you can see, with the bottom piece, so they line up. I haven't got to measure both. And now we're just going to use a guillotine to cut from that mark to each corner, and that gives us our angle. Then I'm coming in with Jamie's metallic ink pad in black suede, and I'm just giving a light coating over all of these pieces. Remember, we only need 2 of the skinny pieces, and this just gives a light sheen to the black card. Next, I'm just coming in with an anti-static powder tool and just brushing over each of those strips of craft card. We're going to be heat embossing using Versamark embossing ink, and I'm just tapping that over the new wood grain background stamp and then firmly pressing each strip. I'm embossing them with clear embossing powder, and this does, when it's dry, give quite an interesting effect. Works quite well, I think, for wood grain. We're now going to cut these down. So the 2 larger strips need to be cut into 4 6cm strips, and the 3 smaller pieces need to be cut into 3 10.5cm strips and 6 2.5cm strips. And this is what you end up with: 4 at 6, 3 at 10.5 and 6 at 2.5. With your 4 6cm strips, you're going to mark them in the middle, score them in the middle, and then we're going to fold and burnish each one of those. These pieces are going to form the corners of our planter and essentially are going to hold the whole planter together. We then need to cut 3 craft panels, one at 5.5 by 12.5 centimetres, one at 6 centimetres by 10.5 centimetres, and one at 5.5 by 10.5 centimetres. We're going to take the 5.5 by 12.5 piece of craft card and we're going to score it 1 centimetre in from each side. So that's at 1 centimetres and 11.5 centimetres. And this is going to create our middle piece to allow the tiering for the flowers. We're then going to adhere our frame, and as you can see, I'm taking the side piece first, and I've not applied glue to the middle on either of these side pieces, and that is because we're going to thread our window panes in afterwards, so we want to leave those middle bits empty. Then we're coming in with the top and bottom panels, doing the same, and they overlay so that you can see the angles at each side, the angle cuts. We're then coming in with the skinnier pieces that make the window frames, threading them into those areas where it hasn't been glued under the frame, trimming off the excess, and then doing the same for the vertical one. It's a little bit fiddly, but as long as you've left a glue-free space, this will work. Then we're taking the 6 centimetre by 10.5 centimetre piece and gluing that all over. That creates the back piece for our planter. We're taking one of our corners and we're gluing that, and then we're adhering that, lining it up with the edge of the card there, as you can see. We're taking the other piece on the opposite side and doing the same. However, before we firmly stick this down, we want to take our middle piece and just make sure it fits. We're just testing it here, that the card does fold flat. And as you can see, when I've done it, it's created some movement, and that's a really good thing about Jamie's glue, having wiggle room, because it allows me to move it slightly and make sure again that it does press flat going in both directions, because we want this to mal out. I'm then doing the same and testing the panels for the planter, and I do this with all 3 of them. I just lay it in, as you can see, and you can see there was a little bubble in the middle there, and it just means a little bit needs to trim off the edge, because when you fold the pieces at the sides it should remain flat. I did that for all of those pieces, and now I'm coming in and building the side panel. So I just take each of the smaller pieces and line them up in the corner. I do top and bottom first, or bottom and top, it doesn't really matter, and then I come in with the middle one last, because that allows me to space them out correctly. You can see the embossing is facing up, so I'm gluing the embossed side, and then I'm doing exactly the same on the opposite side, gluing just the edge of the embossed side and sticking that down, and that's our side panel. So now we're going to fit our middle tiered part. So I'm just checking that lines up, adding a small amount of glue to the bottom of the underside of each of those side panels and pressing that down. Once I know that's stuck, I lean it over to the right, and then I am going to do exactly the same with the left. I'm just checking there to make sure it does still fold flat. I do this frequently just to make sure it is still flat. Gluing it, popping that down, and then we're ready to go with this piece. Now this piece is optional and it's a pocket. You just glue the sides and the bottom. You do not need to glue the top. And this is just a pop in here, and you'll see it creates a little pocket for this middle tier that you can actually just slot your flowers into, glue the bottom and slot them in. I just think that's easier than trying to stick them to the actual panel. We're now going to do the front panel, and the way we do this is we take our corner piece and we line it up with the corner that's already there. We're gluing the edge of each panel, as you can see, and we're just really using the underside as a guide. So you can see I'm just gluing the edge of each one and then adhering it to that corner piece and just using a piece underneath as a guide. And I'm now doing it on the opposite side. I'm going to do all 3 at once because they're down. Line that up with the edge of the card, and you can see that's been glued there, and that creates the front fence panel. Now we've just got to attach it, so we're gluing the edge of the left sides of those embossed panels, lining that up with the corner. We're going to make sure it does still fold flat. Like I said, I keep checking. Doing the same with the other side, but this time we're going to bring it out to the right and tuck it in there and fold it down. And there we have our planter. It's probably a bit squiff, but yeah, that's our planter. So we're now coming in with the new daisy blooms, hellebore blooms, miniature elegant butterflies, and best mum in the world dies. Cutting the sentiment from black and from white. I cut 3 of each of the flowers, but you're actually going to need a few more of the hellebores to layer afterwards just to strengthen it, because we want these flowers to stand up. So now I'm coming in with Christmas green Enchanted Sprinkles and spring green, and I'm going to mix them with a drop of water on my mat, and I'm just going to use each of these colours to fill in the leaves. So I'm essentially using these as watercolours now. And you can see a small amount of the powder has gone a long way, but we've actually added a little bit more powder now just to strengthen the colour. So you really do have options with these. Doing the same now with the Christmas green, just adding dabs of that everywhere, and then I'm doing the same to the hellebore leaves as well, just filling those in. And now I'm coming in with cherry pop and doing exactly the same, mixing that on my mat along with coral pink. And I'm using this to fill the flowers in, and on hindsight I wish I'd actually stopped here and left this white border around the edge. I decided to come in with the coral pink and add little like dabs here and there of colour, and it essentially filled in those white areas. They looked quite pretty with the white border. So again, I'm coming in now with some golden yellow and some tidal teal just to add to these butterflies, and you can see the colours mix beautifully. The yellow coming in with the tidal teal was really pretty. Just completing the centre of the daisies. I made a bit of a mess of the centre of those flowers. I wasn't entirely happy with them. And now, as I said earlier, I'm just strengthening the hellebores, so I cut an extra few layers. I think I did 2 behind each one. You may have got away with 1 behind each, but layering up my butterflies. And then I'm just adding a line of glue down the middle here and just adding some little clear sparkly gemstones just to make the butterfly pop, although it pops quite a lot already with the vivid colour. And now I'm just adhering the black sentiment to the white sentiment, so to create that shadowed look, and again that just makes it pop. adhering my daisies. So I'm doing this to the back part first, so these are going flat against the back, and the great thing about being able to press the card down flat is you can push them in place. Trimming the bottom of the flowers that I want to slot into that little pocket there. I just find this easier. Like I said, that was optional. You don't have to add the pocket, but I just find it easier than trying to hold it against that middle panel. Squishing it all down again, adhering my butterfly and my sentiment, and again flattening that down to do that. And then I'm just taking a side folding note card and popping that over the base, and here is my finished card. I really hope today's video has been helpful. If it has, please do give Jamie Rodgers Crafts a like and a follow, and hit the subscribe bell if you're watching on YouTube to be updated about up and coming videos. Thank you for watching.